with your phone calls coming up in about 15 minutes from now when Bob leaves us. Internationalforecaster.com is his excellent website. Before I get into questions from the listeners and phone calls, I want to get into the gold market. But before we do that, Bob Chapman, specifically for those that don't understand, and again, this has even been on CNBC, but only here and there, these special computer trading programs that only Goldman Sachs and a few other of the big six banks have, they're black boxes that can siphon off billions every week, literally theft. They bring the suckers in. They're telling them, get back into the market. Europe is plunging. This is all being done by design, but I agree with you. It's getting out of control in Iceland, in Greece, in Spain, in Portugal, in England. The people are saying, we're not doing this. The Americans are behind the curve in waking up, but they're starting to wake up. Explain to people again what the President's Open Market Committee is, what the Plunge Protection Team is, and the unbelievable power this gives the fractional reserve banking cartel. Not only can they create trillions of made-up assets for themselves and crap derivatives and certify them, but they also rig the market. Explain how big a deal that is and where gold should really be right now if they weren't in there trying to suppress it.
Well, first of all, the algorithms that are used are computer programs. And those programs are used in a combination with the computer in the New York Stock Exchange. And the closer you are to the NYSE computer, the more access and the quicker access that you have to the orders coming through, and they come through in nanoseconds. And so what these characters like Goldman does, and there's 17 of them. So the 17 computers, one after the other, lined up, and you pay a certain fee to the stock exchange to go in there and front-run the orders is actually what they're doing. And of course, the SEC won't tell you that, and they won't stop it because it's a big profit center because they're stealing from other institutions as well as the public. And so they use these formulas, and they go into the computer because they get the information first, and then they either buy or sell in relation to the order that's coming through. And they don't make much money, a quarter of a penny, a half a penny, a penny. And at the end of the day, it's only $8 million. At the end of the week, it's $1 billion that they've stolen. And so that's what that's all about. And they continue to let it happen, just like derivatives. No control. I mean, the SEC might just as well not even be there.
Okay.
And the same thing with the CFTC.
And, of course, the CFTC, all these groups are almost completely commanded by J.P. Morgan, Goldman Sachs, and the other big four banks alumni, but Goldman Sachs is the key group. Now, you've worked at all levels of this, Bob. I know we don't know how they did it, but we know it was rigged, and even CNBC is saying that, and it wasn't a fat finger. But how, we know they rigged it through the Plunge Protection Team, but we don't know how, or maybe you do, how were they able, and we've confirmed this, to block out 90+% of traders and day traders and even people on the stock exchange? How did they lock it down? What was the mechanism for that 10, 15-minute period to just lock everybody out? And what is their mechanism to go in specifically? What's the instrument through the Plunge Protection Team? What happened yesterday? And if they can shave points off for themselves at the source of the river of money, then is this signaling a new level of insider trading and control when they just lock the whole stock market down for themselves?
Well, it is a new level, and I must admit I cannot describe how they've done that, and I just don't know. And I think the guy who could tell you is Max Keiser, who has worked on those programs, and he would be the one to be able to describe that.
Yeah, let's get Keiser on Sunday or Monday. Emergency call to Max Keiser. Good point. Go ahead, Bob.
And so I can't answer the question because my knowledge only goes so far. And I don't know how they did it. And I don't even know who did it. I don't know whether it was government or it was Goldman or who it was.
Now, how does the Plunge Protection Team work?
They have people watching the markets. They have direction. It's just like the Fed and the Treasury tell. See, there used to be 21. There's now 19 brokerage houses that work with the Fed and the Treasury. and each morning they have a conference call, and they're told what to do in the market. Brokerage house A, you go in and you make sure the price of gold goes down $3 today, and silver goes down 15 cents today. Brokerage house number 2, you make sure that the Dow Jones Industrial Average is up at least 20 points today. Brokerage house number 3, we want you, because copper is leading the pack in the commodity market, we want you to knock it down 10 or 15 cents if you can. And they supply the money to do that. And that's going on in every market in the world. These people are all professionals, and so they're rigging all the markets.
And giving themselves an incredible unfair trade advantage.
Absolutely. I mean, it is a license to steal. People used to think that the specialists had a license to steal. I mean, this is phenomenal. And they're making hundreds of billions of dollars. They're draining all of the pension and profit-sharing plans. The people who are managing money at a tremendous disadvantage. And only 8% of the trades in the New York Stock Exchange now are individual trading accounts. The 73% are black box, these algorithms. And there's no liquidity in the market.
But as best you can tell, specifically, we know they started shutting down the European stock exchanges. Right before that, they were in free fall. And so to cover positions, the info you have, correct me if I'm wrong, is that big outfits dumped a bunch of stock. The contagion spread. In the 5 minutes they weren't watching, it dropped 1,000 points. The computers kicked in and drove it back up 1,000.
Well, I don't know about the computers kicking back in and taking it back up 1,000. I rather suspect the government was behind that when they started plunging. They probably went all out and bought the different derivative contracts to run it back up again. That's what. Well,
that's what I meant. I meant the government computer system, because from what you and others have said, that's pretty much pre-programmed.
I think that is, and it goes far beyond that. But we can accept the fact that there should be some sort of method of keeping the market from plunging 1,000 points in a day, and a working group in financial markets plunge protection team could do something like that, but not what they're doing. They are raping, and that's not what this was designed for, and it's got to stop. The executive order has to be killed. In fact, I think there should be no executive orders.
All right, Bob.
Just like I don't think there should be lobbying or campaign contributions or Patriot Act 1 and 2 and the Federal Reserve, and I can go on and on.
All right, Bob Chapman's going to be with us 20 minutes in the next hour, so plenty of time for your Twitter questions and your live phone calls on air. Chris, Pastor Al, Matt, Fred, many others that are patiently holding. But shifting gears for just the next 5 minutes, I want to bring Ted Anderson up with us. I don't tell people financial advice. I tell people what I personally have done. I bought most of the gold I have when it was 280, 300, 400, 500, and I haven't sold any of it. I personally didn't buy it as an investment. I bought it as an emergency backup, and I've still bought some since it went above 1,000. But every analyst we have on says it should be above 2,000, 2,500. It's now come out with the Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan whistleblowers that they are suppressing, that the Gatto lawsuits are correct. That's been in testimony now on C-SPAN. So all of this is starting to come out. We know they're trying to hold gold down, but they can't. It's up over $35 in the last 2 days to $1,209.80. So $1,209.80 right now. Silver is way up. What do you see happening in the gold and silver market?
Are you asking me, Alex?
No, I'm asking Bob, then we're going to you, Ted. I want to get your take, too.
She's the best analyst in the world right now. And she said, we're going to break out to a new high. We'll go to 13 to 1,500, and then we're going to go up from there. She says this is a super bull market. I agree with her, and that's where we're going.
Now, and let's be clear, Ted Anderson, and I haven't seen these numbers in the last hour, but if people think gold is way up here in the United States, they haven't even looked at Europe or Asia.
Europe and Asia right now are seeing gold at the peaks that they've never seen before. I mean, yesterday we had a run out of the European currencies into U.S. Treasuries and gold, both of those hand in hand. So gold is up, and so is the dollar. Now, today, gold is up over $15 since I talked to you yesterday on the air, and the U.S. dollar is now falling. So obviously the run to Treasuries has stopped, and now they're running into gold specifically because everything's down. I mean, you look at the indexes across the board, the Russell, the Dow, everything's down. It's in the red, but gold is up and silver's up right now.
Bob Chapman and then Ted, explain that in layman's terms. Normally the globalists can balance things. They drive one thing down, they jack something else up. But now we see this gyration accelerating, and it's a coordinated global downfall, is it not?